Hello, everyone. I'm Ruben, head of UX at Cambridge University Press, and I'm here to share a story about an initiative that became very successful between our UX and product teams. So, I guess as many of you might be familiar with the workflows and agile environments, etc., UX is normally very close to insights and user behavior data, etc. So as a typical workflow, we used to share this information monthly. We still do, but that would be our primary way of sharing with our colleagues in reports and monthly reports, and we had access to many sources of data. Would collect that and share with our colleagues, and the the review of that data would vary by team, and there are lots of pressures on these teams, and the the time allocated to review that was often not consistent across all teams. And we could see that through questions that we would have when engaging with our teams. So on the screen, you can see, for example, a typical section of a report. This is showing a bit more quantitative data, but we would have some analysis of qualitative data and share with the teams as well every month. So we started something slightly different. So at the point of any intervention, and we have on the sites and any design intervention, we would have agreed some key metrics that we would like to view, what we're trying to achieve, the outcomes of that change of that intervention, and we would start monitoring that. But beyond that, we also would start monitoring anything um, within a period of time around that new intervention for around a quarter. And we would meet every quarter to discuss things that we observe in this period. So in these sessions, we would focus on what users loved from that since that intervention, what they struggled with, and how releases would perform in real world settings. So what we observed was that although all the data we had before would enable decision making and would ultimately inform the next steps of design, um, these sessions became actually the catalyst for change in a ways that we didn't expect. So in reality, the fact we had everyone in the room, and if you imagine, I guess it's the same setup that most places have. If you have more than three people to try to arrange a meeting there, you might be looking at 6 month time to get everyone free. So in this setup, we managed to have, product teams and UX teams all in the room and sharing and reviewing data. So the UX will do the heavy lifting. We'd evaluate, assess, collect the data, conduct analysis, and also make comments on recommendations, observations we would make. The typical staff would watch recordings from tools like Hotjar, any data we'd observe from any user testing activities we'd be conducting, etc. And in these sessions, we will share everything. Unfortunately, I can't share much of it because one of the aspects of it is actually very informal. We don't create fancy presentation polished stuff. It's actually rough and ready Miro boards with data and comments on it. And that means we'll be sharing some of our colleagues' names and all that. So I couldn't share much of that. I did want to share some of it, but I think the main aspect of it that this informal element of it makes everyone feel that it can contribute and decisions are made there and then in these sessions. So looking at data, looking at behavior, and we could identify things that were impacting users and the people who were willing and ready to make decisions were in the room, and those decisions were made based on data and based on observed. So reduce that need for arranging meetings to discuss findings and then agree on those next steps, etc., etc. So this initiative kind of speed up all of that. What we noticed were much faster decision making around the next steps of any intervention. and decisions were made much, much faster and more effective, at a lot more effective way than sharing the statics report that we had before. And if you're curious about how this all works, I'm happy to share more details. Um, Running out of time, it's just a 5 minute lightning talk, but I hope it piqued your curiosity and feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn and other channels. Thank you.